Imagine the dead of a West Bengal night. You're on a train, hurtling through the dark between the borderlands of West Bengal and Jharkhand. Outside, the world is as dark as devil's spit. Inside, the rhythmic thunder of the wheels is the only constant. But then, a voice, flat, tinny, coming from the old speaker system above you, breaks the silence. It's an announcement no passenger ever wants to hear. Attention passengers, Begunkodar Railway Station is approaching. I repeat, Begunkodar Railway Station is approaching. Please ensure all windows and doors are securely closed. Do not look outside. We will be passing through at maximum authorized speed. Maximum speed. Why? Because the men and women who drive these iron beasts know the truth. They know that to slow down, to even think about stopping, is to invite something terrifying into the world of the living. They are racing a presence, a horrifying entity that lurks in the shadows of one of India's most notorious places. A place so cursed, it was forcibly shut down for 42 years, simply because it was haunted. The locals whisper a warning about this entity. A person can only see it once. A second encounter, that won't leave you alive. This is the story of Begunkodar Railway Station. The year was 1960. Begunkodar was just a name on a ledger, a remote skeletal structure of concrete and rusted steel. The problem wasn't the station itself. It was the stifling silence. It felt less like a transit point and more like a final resting place. Into this oppressive stillness arrived Mohan, a new station master, transferred all the way from Uttar Pradesh. He brought his wife and his family, hoping to make a home in the small railway quarter nestled right beside the tracks. There was only one major shift for Mohan. His new assignment was night duty. Every evening at 9 p.m. sharp, he'd leave the dim, oil-lit warmth of his small house and cross the short distance to his office. His cabin was a solitary shack next to the platform. Late at night, he was practically alone, just one or two other tired employees amidst the vast empty blackness of the night. On his very first night, the unease began. He was waiting for the midnight arrival, the 12:10 a.m. train, when he first saw her. As the train's lights stabbed through the darkness and it began to pull away, he saw a woman sprinting alongside the carriages. She was chasing it, arms outstretched, her movements unnaturally swift, as if she were matching the train's velocity. And yet, she was always just a breath too late. She missed it. Mohan, a man of rules and schedules, simply shouted, "Ma'am!" Wait, another train in an hour. But she dissolved into the darkness as if she hadn't heard, but this wasn't a one-time thing. It became his nightly terror. Every night, with the arrival of the 12:10 a.m. train, the same figure would appear. Always running. Always missing. Always disappearing. But over the next week, Mohan began to focus on the impossible details. Her speed was not human. And then, the final, chilling moment, just before she faded away. He realized she wasn't just running away. She was stopping, turning and standing right outside his cabin window. She wouldn't knock, wouldn't speak. She would simply stare at him. In the weak glow of his desk lamp, Mohan swore he could see a horrifying truth. Her eyes were not white and black. They were bloodshot like a beast, burning with an intense, unquenchable rage. He was slowly going mad. The next morning, driven by a growing bone-deep terror, Mohan sought out the day station master. "Sir, this woman, she's not human. She runs at the speed of the train. There is blood in her eyes. Her eyes, I swear, they are like that of a lioness after a fresh kill. Every night, she stands at my window and looks at me with pure hate. I am afraid for my life. Please, something must be done." The other staff didn't offer sympathy. They offered mockery. A woman running at the speed of a train, Mohan. Blood in her eyes? "Don't be ridiculous," they chuckled. "This is a quiet station. You are simply having delusions because you're not used to night duty. Calm down." But one man, a friend named Raja, took pity on him. "Brother," Raja said, "take God's name. Look, I will stay late tonight. I'll wait with you. We'll both see this woman, okay? Everything will be fine." Raja finished his day shift and stayed, waiting for Mohan to arrive. 9 p.m. came and went. 10 p.m. The great clock hand peeled through the night's skin, one stroke at a time. 12 a.m. Raja was alone in the cabin. The 12:10 a.m. train was due any minute. He strained his eyes, peering into the gloom. Nothing. No ghostly runner. No flicker of an impossible figure. Maybe Mohan was ill, Raja thought. Maybe he just needed a break. He left the empty cabin and walked the short, dark path to Mohan's railway quarter. It was only a few steps away. When he arrived, the door was open and the weak lamplight spilled onto the porch. And there, right in front of the threshold, lay Mohan and his wife. They were dead. Raja stood frozen, looking at the silent, still figures. The terror that had haunted the platform had found its way to their home. But what had happened? He hadn't seen the running woman at the 12:10 a.m. train. The post-mortem report was swift and utterly baffling. There was no sign of violence, no struggle. The verdict was shocking. Mohan and his wife had both died simultaneously of a massive heart attack. They had seen something so profoundly terrifying, so utterly impossible, that the shock alone had halted their hearts. The terror was real. Within days, every employee, Raja, the daymaster, the cleaners, all appealed for an immediate transfer. The replacement station masters who came after Mohan didn't even last a week. They simply fled in the dead of night, abandoning their posts, their families packed and gone. Begunkodar Railway Station became a desolate, hollow shell, a graveyard of railroad ties and shattered dreams. But the question remains, why? What spirit, what entity was so powerful that it could kill a man with a single glance and shut down a vital piece of national infrastructure? The old-timers and the locals of Begunkodar tell the devastating story behind the haunting, the story of a mother's last unfulfilled wish. The woman's name was Divya. She lived a hard life near the tracks, her only solace being her son, who was away studying at Calcutta University. Her husband had died in the army, and her son was all she had. In 1958, she received a letter that read, "Mother, I am coming home on this date. Please come to pick me up." Divya, dressed in her best clothes, carrying sweets and a bursting heart to the platform. She waited for the arrival of the 12:10 a.m. train. The train pulled in. Passengers disembarked, but her son, her Karan, did not. She frantically searched the carriages. Then, a kind passenger stopped her. "Was your son named Karan?" he asked hesitatingly. She nodded, tears starting to bud in her eyes with an ominous anticipation. "I'm so sorry, ma'am," he said quietly. "A boy named Karan slipped from the train and died 3 or 4 stations back." The news fell like a bolt from the blue. But Divya could not accept it. She was in denial, a state of frantic, hopeful madness. She kept coming back. Every night, she carried the sweets, she carried her terror, and she carried the desperate hope. My son will come. My son will come back. She would run along the platform, chasing the train, asking every passenger who dared to look at her, "Is there a boy named Karan? Is there a boy named Karan?" But she got no answer. Finally, worn down by grief, her last hope extinguished, Divya walked onto the tracks. She lay down on the cold steel, a faint, distant rumble like an impending storm. For the only thing that had ever given her a reason to live, and now, the only thing that could end her pain, the 12:10 a.m. train. She took her own life. This incident was so notorious that the 12:10 a.m. service was immediately canceled. For 2 years, the tracks were silent at midnight. But in 1960, a new station master named Mohan arrived, and the 12:10 a.m. train resumed service. And that's when the people of Begunkodar knew. Divya had returned, not as a woman, but as a grudged, malevolent spirit, the ghostly mother, running the same impossible race every single night, forever chasing the carriage that carried the last trace of her son. Due to the death of Mohan and the fear of a spirit that could suck life out of you just with a stare, Begunkodar Railway Station was officially shut down in 1960. Stray villagers, often returning home late at night, if ever they had to cross those cold, moon-cowled tracks, often reported seeing a white sari, as if made of mist, sailing over those tracks. It remained a silent monument to grief for 42 years. Begunkodar Railway Station was eventually reopened in 2009, following efforts by the local government. Today, trains do stop there, but the fear remains. The station might be open, but the ghostly mother's terrifying presence has never truly left. This is the grim lesson of Begunkodar. When a person's last wish remains unfulfilled, their soul is bound to this world, and their presence will never tolerate anyone who stands between them and that one final hope. The ghostly mother is still there, a heartbroken sentinel, checking every incoming carriage, hoping against all cosmic laws to see her son one last time. So, if you ever find yourself on that line, on that train, and you hear that chilling announcement to close your windows and doors, listen to the warning. For in the dark, you might catch a glimpse of a woman running at impossible speed. And if you dare to look into her burning, bloodshot eyes, you will have seen her for the first and final time. Don't go to Begunkodar at night. Don't look out the window, and pray that your train doesn't slow down.